Yeah. Full court pressure. CJ. Yeah. What we talking about? 94 feet, crossover bodies, dropping J's up. Players, this elite, your shots on body blocking halftime. We break it down, we gon' call your bluff, it's past time. You recognize, boy, press. We got the heat down in Florida with the keys. Guess we the best. Magic, we flash with them fans, listen, won't see the best. Show rise from the airwaves like all stars in them stairways. Local rockin', we not stopping, got hot topics like every day. Them trades hit that deadline. My team chasing the big ring. We ball, check that headline. Don't mess it up when you pick teams. The only station giving y'all that info with that real talk. Don't be trying to contest it. Go toe to toe and get wheeled off. We shooting from deeper than that report from the bleachers. If you ain't on your game, then we got something to teach you. Tie your laces up, might get shook up out of them sneakers. That triple threat, bless your eardrum straight out of your speakers. Go from that black top to the hardwood. Locker room to that press day. Got the scoop on them contracts, new prospects and best plays. NBA defined by the grind, in between the lines, full court pressing, finessing, redesigns. What we talking about? 94.
Good morning, basketball world. This is the Around the Association podcast, and this is the Thursday edition, I think December 11th. I'm your host, Danny Thompson, checking in with you. It's been a crazy night in the NBA, a very, very busy night in the NBA. 11 games on the Wednesday schedule. For those who do not know about the NBA, Wednesday is pretty much the busiest night of the week outside of Monday and Friday. But we're going to catch you back up on everything that you missed in the NBA over the next few minutes. Before we get started, check me out on Twitter at DannyDANY, number 3 Thompson on Twitter, as well as AroundTheAssociation.com. And the brand new Around the Association, everything will be relaunched. We're right down. Just got some things going on maintenance-wise. Site's still up, but also check us out on Facebook, which is Around the Association on Facebook, and also subscribe to the daily podcast, which is and where you can find podcasts, which is iHeart, Podomatic, iTunes, Spreaker, Spotify, all our good podcasting friends that you can download the show onto and pass it on to on a daily basis. So, wow, where do we start? 11 games on the schedule, so let's start in Toronto. Last night was an emotional night in Toronto, the beginning of the game. Kawhi Leonard was given his championship ring. A very, very a heartfelt, touching moment before the game. The Raptors pulled out all the stops to show Kawhi the respect and the love that he was given. In his time in Toronto, he led them to a championship, and then the game actually happened. And Kawhi looked like the player that carried the Raptors to the championship last year. 23 points and 5 rebounds, 6 assists in his first game back. The Clippers cruised to a 112-92 victory over the Toronto Raptors. Kawhi played 32 minutes on the night and pretty much sat down most of the fourth quarter as his Clippers teammates took care of business. Clippers had 7 guys in double figures. They got 18 points, 8 assists, and 6 rebounds from Lou Williams in the game. Raptors were pretty much out of it for most of it. Clippers took control in the second quarter, and was up by as many as 24 in the fourth quarter. Wasn't much of a game. Pascal Siakam had 24 points to lead the Raptors, but this was really all about Kawhi getting his ring, and then afterwards, like I said, it wasn't a hostile atmosphere. The fans showed so much love, and the Raptors have lost a few games, lost their third game in a row. They've been slumping of late. They were undefeated, but lost their started the first 9 games of the season undefeated at home, and now have lost the last 3. It was a struggle for the Raptors tonight. They haven't been the same team over the last about the last 10 days or so. They've got to find ways to get themselves back. First home losing streak since 2015, where they lost 3 straight games at home. Raptors struggled from the 3-point line. They shot 8 of 36 from beyond the arc in the game. So let's start top to bottom from other big games last night, other games that were fun last night. Out in Sacramento, the Kings won another game with a big shot at the end. Bojan Bogdanovic knocked down the huge three-pointer with 13.4 seconds left to give the Kings a 94-93 victory over the Oklahoma City Thunder. Kings came back from an 11-point deficit in the fourth quarter. Second buzzer beater in a week from the Kings, as Bjelica hit a three-pointer at the buzzer on Monday night out in Houston. This was a huge defensive game for the Kings. Played some outstanding defense down the stretch. Chris Paul could not hit his game-winning shot at the buzzer. Give the Kings a lot of credit. They got 23 points from Buddy Hield, including 8 in the fourth quarter. And guess what? Besides Bogdanovic 17, Marvin Bagley returns to the lineup, 11.6 rebounds after missing the last 22 games with a broken thumb. The Thunder was led by Dennis Schroeder had 17 points. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander had 14 points. And Chris Paul, as I mentioned earlier, he only shot 3 of 9 from the floor, but he did give 8 points and 12 assists to go along with 7 rebounds in the game. Out in Brooklyn, the Brooklyn Nets were up by as many as 20 points in the game, but Devonte Graham's career high 40 points, including shot after shot after shot in the fourth quarter, gave the Hornets a 113-108 victory over the Nets. The Nets just beat them the other night in Charlotte. The Hornets returned the favor. Graham just was out there lighting up the Nets from all over the floor last night. He had 27 in the second half, making shot after shot after shot. Spencer did what he did, have 24 points, and Jared Allen 21 and 11. But like I said, it was a 20-point lead the Nets blew at home. Not exactly what you really want to do against a team like Charlotte. Charlotte had a huge third quarter run to get the lead back down, to get themselves in the lead, 21-7 run. The only thing Kenny Atkinson could do different was actually double teaming Graham. Graham finished the game, like I said, with the 40 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, but he shot 12 of 21 from the floor, knocked down 7 3-pointers of his 12 attempts. Graham is making every bit of the candidate to be the comeback player of the year in the NBA. Out in Indiana, in the matchup of the two teams with the best 2 records combined in the night, the Pacers took care of the Celtics 122-117. Malcolm Brogdon had 29 points, 8 assists, and the Pacers withstood 44 points from Kemba Walker in this game. Pacers looked like the team that, they're starting to bounce back. They made some shots down the stretch. They got some huge fourth quarter efforts from the Holiday brothers, who scored 20 points combined in the game. This was a big win for the Pacers, a team that's been trying to figure out where they need to do, and also at the same time, they're playing some good basketball, but they came out of a 10-point hole to start the fourth quarter, using very good defense and teamwork and knocking down shots to make this game happen. Walker, as he had 15 in the first, he had 44 for the game. They just did everything they had to do, but the Pacers did force 5 turnovers in the first part of the fourth quarter to get this lead down to where it was. And then, like I said, shot after shot, they were matching shots throughout the game. And Walker just ran out in the fourth quarter. He missed 5 of his 7 shots in the fourth quarter. Walker pretty much ran out of ammo the way he was shooting the entire game. Aaron Holiday scored 11 of his 18 points in that fourth quarter. Just Holiday had 17 for the Pacers. Out in Houston, we'll start from top to bottom the rest of the night. James Harden scored 55 points, including 20 in the fourth quarter. Yes, I said 55 points, including 20 in the fourth quarter. Rockets beat the Cavs 116-110. And the crazy part about it was this game was a back-and-forth game. At one point, the Cavs were pretty much leading the majority of the game, the majority of the fourth quarter, had a huge run in the fourth quarter to get the lead back before Harden starts knocking down everything in that quarter. The Cavs have lost 14 in the last 15, and like I said, this was a huge scare in Cleveland for the Rockets last night. Harden hit 4 3-pointers in the fourth quarter, 7 of 8 from the floor. He tied Kyrie Irving's arena record for most points in the game. What else can you say about Harden? It was this season, as far as 50-point games, he's had 4 of them. The Cavs, like I said, they gave every bit of effort and just ran out after scoring 24 straight points in the second half. Harden was just adding different levels to his game. He's the 4th player in the league history to hit multiple games of 10 3-pointers in a game. He hit with 10 last night. Harden just did everything. He just was hitting shot after shot after shot after shot, whether it be from the 3-point line, whether it be from the lane, whether it's from getting to the free throw line. And ironically, in his 55 points last night, only 5 of them came from the free throw line. He finished the game 20 of 34 from the floor, including 10 of 18 from the 3-point line. Rockets also got 23 points and 7 rebounds from Russell Westbrook. Cleveland was led by a season-high 24 from Kevin Porter Jr. off the bench for Cleveland. 17-11 from Kevin Love in the game. Out in Orlando, the Orlando Magic did everything they could to try to keep the Lakers down, but LeBron James, his personal 10-0 assist and score run put the Magic away 96-87 at Amway Center on Wednesday night. James was his 6th triple-double this year, 25 points, 11 rebounds, 10 assists in the game. Lakers have won 13 of their last 14 and still have not lost, and still are a road winning streak as well too. Lakers were just dominating all throughout the game. Give Orlando credit; they were down as many as 24 in this game. Got the lead to actually tied the game with 10 minutes left in the game on Michael Carter Williams 3-pointer, and that's when James went on his own personal run. He scored or assisted on the next Lakers 10 points in the game, including hitting Avery Bradley, Caruso and Dudley for 3-pointers, and LeBron just being LeBron by running over to the defense and getting a layup At that point, it was a 10-point game, and the Lakers were pretty much in cruise control after that. Jonathan Isaac scored all 19 points in the second half. Evan Fournier had 18 points. Mo Bamba had 13 points off the bench for the Magic. Magic did play the game without Markelle Fultz, who missed the game. No worries, nothing serious. Fultz just missed the game when he had the stomach flu. So also this game had some ejections. Jared Dudley and Wes Iwundu was ejected in the fourth quarter for fighting. I don't know. Just want to throw it in there. Other games on Wednesday night out in Chicago, Zach LaVine scored 35 points in three quarters. Bulls blew out a road weary Hawks team 136-102. Hawks have just pretty much imploded since John Collins' suspension, and it's not getting pretty anytime soon. Hawks have, I guess, their back to back was really interesting. Like I said, Tuesday night we're up by 6. Trae Young basically called game at that point. The Hawks allowed 22 consecutive points and lost the game in overtime. They played the second game of back-to-back, and it didn't turn out well. The Hawks have lost 13 in the last 15 games. Trae Young had a double-double, 15 points, 13 assists. On the Bulls side of things, like I said, they got the 35 from LaVine in less than three quarters. Lauri Markkanen added 22. Kobe White had 19. And you know what? Thaddeus Young filled the stat sheet last night. 15 points, 9 rebounds, 6 assists, and 3 steals for the Bulls. All right, other games on the schedule. Utah Jazz got 20 points and 16 rebounds from Rudy Gobert. Donovan Mitchell chipped a nice clean 30. Jazz took care of the Timberwolves 127-116. Hey, listen, the Timberwolves got 32 from Jeff Teague, but the problem was they couldn't play defense in the fourth quarter, especially on Donovan Mitchell. Mitchell hit some huge shots down the stretch. The Jazz scored 68 points in the second half to share the comeback, but it was really all about the defense in the game. Joe Ingles dropped in the season, had 23 points as well. It was really the Jazz moving the ball in the fourth quarter. And the crazy thing with the Timberwolves is that they've been playing some pretty good basketball. They're 7-6 in a row this year, but they're 3-8 at home. You can't make the playoffs or make any type of playoff run if you don't win games at home. Outside of 30 plus points from Jeff, 32 points from Teague, they got 26 points from Karl-Anthony Towns and a double from 26 points from Wiggins and 21 points and 11 rebounds from Karl-Anthony Towns in the game. Problem was there wasn't enough defense for the Timberwolves last night at home. Out in Phoenix, Ja Morant's huge dunk over Aaron Baines. If you get time to see it, please go out and check it out. Grizzlies 115-108 over the Phoenix Suns. Jaren Jackson had 24 points and 6 rebounds to lead the Grizzlies. Along with Dylan Brooks' 27 points. But the thing with Jackson was he has a huge third quarter. We had 11 points in the quarter. Brooks has had 27 in the game. The Grizzlies have won back-to-back games for the first time in nearly a month. And also at the same time, here's a great stat. Hey Grizzlies. And Tyler Jenkins. Here's what you might want to do. Get Dylan Brooks the basketball. The Grizzlies are 6-0 when Brooks scores 20 or more points in a game this season. Jackson did finish game 10 of 18 from the floor. Did knock down a couple three-pointers. Ja Morant did not have the best scoring game of his NBA career, but he did everything else he needed to do. 13 points, 6 assists, 4 rebounds in the game, and also 1 huge dunk. The Suns were led by Frank Kaminsky, who had 24 points and 5 rebounds. Just not, and Devin Booker had 15 points on an off shooting night, but he did contribute 10 assists. Rick Rubio, 22 points, 8 rebounds for the Suns. Like I said, just couldn't overstand that humongous dunk from Morant as the Grizzlies took care of business in the fourth quarter. Out in Milwaukee, what more can you say about the Bucks? Now they're winning without Giannis. Giannis didn't play last night, and guess what? The Bucks took care of business, 127-112 over the New Orleans Pelicans. That's the 16th consecutive win for the Bucks in a row. They just find different ways to do it. Eric Bledsoe had led the way with a team high 29 points and 6 rebounds. Chris Middleton contributed 24 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists. They also got 18 points from Ersan Ilyasova in the place of Giannis last night. Pelicans had 31 points from JJ. A season high 31 from JJ Redick and 25 and 10 from Brandon Ingram. But this game was really all about the defense. They took a little bit more ownership in that defense in the second half, found ways to stop the Pelicans who kept making run after run after run. Bledsoe had a huge third quarter. Like I said, he had 11 points in the quarter, and he also knocked down a season high 5 3-pointers. I know Eric Bledsoe with 3-pointers is an interesting thing. Pelicans fought back after being down by 23, but it was just too much of the Bucks at the end. And finally, on the schedule last night, out in Oakland, might have been the most entertaining game of the night. Marcus Morris Sr.'s 36 points and 10 rebounds led the New York Knicks to their fifth win of the season, 124-122 over the Golden State Warriors in overtime last night. The Knicks got their first win under interim head coach Mike Miller. Also got 3 double-doubles of the night. Besides Morris's, they got 4 points and 13 rebounds from Julius Randle, and 22 points and 10 rebounds from R.J. Barrett for the Knicks. The Warriors were led by 32 points and 6 assists from D'Angelo Russell. Really was a game where the Warriors fought throughout the game to get this game back to where it was. They were down the majority of the game, forced overtime, and that was it. The Knicks led by as many as 22 in the game, but the Knicks held on to their victory on the road. So before we get into the Thursday night games, which is kind of a light night in the NBA, who was the stud of the night? Well, I'm doing co-studs of the night. James Harden scored 20 points in the fourth quarter. He had a 55 spot in Cleveland, so you can't really not say he wasn't player of the night. But the other one was out in Brooklyn because Devonte Graham had 40 points, including 27 in the second half. So they're going to share the co-player of the game night, the co-stud of the night awards. LeBron James is also on the list with 20. We throw a triple-double out there. Zach LaVine also should get some honorable mention because he had 35 and 3 quarters as well, too. Marcus Morris, 36 and 10, also got some consideration as well, too. Now, Thursday night, 4 nights game of the NBA schedule. We'll go on ahead and talk about the Celtics and the Sixers will be the game of the night out in Boston. Celtics are on a back-to-back. Like I said, Kemba Walker scored 44 points last night, and the Sixers are headed there to take on Walker and potentially an Eastern Conference playoff matchup. Joel Embiid had a huge game the other night. It's going to be interesting to see the ovation Al Horford gets. He should get a good one from Celtics fans in his return back to Boston. This should be an outstanding basketball game. The Cavs will travel down to San Antonio to take on the Spurs. An interesting back-to-back for them because they were at home last night and in San Antonio tonight. The Cavs just could not hold on last night. They got a big game from Porter going against the Spurs. Team who can use a victory just to jumpstart their second part of the season. Out in Mexico City, these fans are going to have something interesting to watch as Luka Doncic leads the Dallas Mavericks down to take on the Blake Griffin's Detroit Pistons. Well, Luka hasn't had a huge triple-double 40-point game in a while. Tonight might be the night. Just going to tell you, Mexico City fans going to love this one. Late game out in Portland. Blazers, Nuggets, rematch of the Western Conference semifinals in this game, which was won by the Blazers in Game 7 inside of Pepsi Center. They're going to replay this game again tonight. Blazers are a different team. Like I said, they're readjusting now without Rodney Hood, without Zach Collins. Of course, they haven't had Yusuf Nurkic the entire season. Injuries have taken away a lot of the key players for the Blazers, but you still have Damian Lillard, CJ McCollum, and Carmelo Anthony as a 3-headed monster. The Nuggets, one of the best defensive teams in the NBA, and they came off a real rough road trip, and they get to get some home cooking tonight out in Pepsi Center. It is the late game, so it's an 10:30 game, and like I said, the Nuggets are trying to find their confidence back. They've lost 5 of their last 6, going against a team that's lost the Blazers, who were just been up and down, very, very inconsistent over the beginning part of the season. So we're done. Check us out. Check me out on Twitter at Danny D-A-N-Y Thompson, D-A-N-N-Y number 3 Thompson on Twitter. Follow me around the association on Facebook as well as around the association Facebook page. Tune in to the podcast tomorrow. We go over all 4 games and get you set for a hype and filled wonderful weekend in the NBA. So I'm my man Cam James. Takes you out for Trackaholics. We'll catch you guys out tomorrow. Peace.
Body block at halftime. We break it down. We gon' call your bluff. It's past time. You recognize court press. What we talk.